don't rush into things and go slow and steady, because it's better to go slow with a faster growth, because then you could see the mistakes, you could learn, and don't do things for others.
The more pressure you put me under, the more exciting it becomes.
You have to realize stress is coming through other people. Their job is to derail you. Your job is to compartmentalize them.
Imagine being a 12-year-old kid at school, loving WWE wrestling. This guy took that sport and started to create a subscription business and getting people to advertise on his channel. Now bear in mind, he was just 12 years old and he was making $30,000 a month. Are you embarrassed to be fat?
Nope.
Do you feel shame?
Nope.
Did people tease you?
Not really, because I had money.
Interesting.
That's the difference.
What did that teach you?
It taught me that people are yes men. I hate yes men.
How do you trust people?
I don't.
Hi everyone, and welcome to this episode of the podcast. Now before we start, are you a subscriber? Thank you if you are. If you're not, why not? What have I got to do to get you to subscribe to this channel? Look, you can subscribe. If you don't like it, you can unsubscribe too. But the more people that subscribe, the better it is for you, my audience, because I can bring better and better guests for you so that you can enjoy their wisdom, their knowledge, and their stories. So if you can subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. For those of you listening on any podcast app right now, if you are not following or not subscribed, then please do leave me some feedback, leave me some comments. Good or bad, I'm happy to accept them so that I can improve the show and make it better and better for you. Right, let's get on with this week's episode. Please welcome to the show the incredible entrepreneur from Canada, Jas Mathur. Okay, folks, let's talk about real estate. Now, a recent partnership that we've just established on the podcast is with AYS Developers. Luxury properties with high-end finishes from people that really understand the subject. Often in Dubai, you'll find stuff that is maybe substandard. With AYS Developers, you're not going to see that. You're going to see fantastic properties that you can buy, you can invest in, you can make your home on Dubai Islands and other places too. So go visit aysdevelopers.ae and check them out. I promise you it'll be worth the trip. Jas, thank you so much for coming to join us today.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
There's a man that I've wanted to ask a few questions to that is as successful as you for a long time, and it just so happens to be you. So thank you for coming, and thank you for being at least open with me so that I can get to the root of what makes someone like you successful, but also understand your story in more detail and hope that more people can really understand what it takes to get somewhere. Now, you have a huge audience on social media, so obviously there's lots of people around the world that follow you. Why do you think they follow you?
Combination of things. I think how it started first was more of an inspiration. From an inspirational standpoint, I have, obviously a transformational background from body transformation, but primarily at the time I started to gain a lot of followers and I opened up my Instagram to the public. It was in 2019. And, I was around a lot of different celebrities, athletes. I had all the cars, all the different luxury toys, things like that. So people get naturally drawn to that, a lot of them. And then they're like, okay, well, this guy has this. And, it just kind of spirals.
Did you experience a lot of jealousy from people back in those days?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. A lot. I didn't realize it. The difference is I didn't realize it. Today, I realize it. Today, I can identify it. Today, I can look back and I know who's really there supporting and who, believes in my vision and believed in why I did what I did and what I'm doing, in terms of like where the type of things I want to accomplish and why I call myself limitless. But back then, I couldn't identify it. But yes, it opens up a big can of worms.
When I look at your story and I see this incredible weight loss journey,
yes,
and this kind of this almost like this new beginning after this happens, it's actually a little bit back to front to me, because you clearly had entrepreneurial blood and an entrepreneurial desire from many years ago, being involved in your whole WWE, WWE,
yeah,
wrestling experience.
Mm-hmm.
And usually what happens is someone goes through an experience where they're transformed as the way you did, lose a load of weight, and all of a sudden they go, oh, wow. It's like this realization, I can do anything I set my mind to. But you'd already started to do things you set your mind to before you went on the weight loss journey.
Right. But sometimes you do things and you're not realizing what you're doing. And, you realize it only much, much, much later in life when you start looking back at all the things. So for instance, when I started my first business, when I first started getting on computers, even before starting a business, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know why I was even doing what I was doing. I didn't even understand the nature of, making money, why I was trying to make money, what my purpose was behind it, or anything of that nature. Now, today, if we fast forward, I can look back and I could say, okay, I have all these different experiences. I started with one thing. I decided I want to crack this door, this door, this door, this door, this door, and every door that's put in front of me, kick it down, kick it down, kick it down, kick it down, and build all that experience. So now I look back and I'm like, okay, well, you know what? Like, I can really do anything I set my mind to. And a person, limitless is really being a state of mind. But not everybody has that, same ambition, right? It's a lot. It's a lot of undertaking. It's a lot of responsibility. You have to be able to cope with a lot of stress. It comes with a lot of stress, but it's a lot of fun. And for me, I like the thrill.
Well, let's just dive into that for a second then. I like the thrill. It's an interesting thing to say. Which bit is the thrill?
The thrill is, I like to, what they say, with the eyes see and the ears hear, the mind believes, right? You create perception as reality, but then it really becomes reality, right? You want to first, you have to imagine something in your mind. You have to visualize, you have to understand what you want and why, right? Most people in the beginning say, well, they want to be millionaires. Then they want to be billionaires. But what path are you taking? What knowledge do you have? Where are you starting from? What are your roots? Who's around you? What are you surrounding yourself with? Can you really make those sacrifices? Do you have what it takes? Can you be disciplined? So those are all key fundamentals that go into it.
Okay, but when we talk about the thrill, there must have been a thrill. As we grow, the thrill changes because we get excited for bigger and better. So if you go back to those early stages, where was that thrill for you? Where was the buzz?
The thrill was, to me, the thrill was always doing things on the internet that where my excitement came was not with the money I was making, was all of the, for instance, okay, I made over $1 million with a Pringles can. Now, if you ask yourself, a Pringles chips can. So here's where my thrill came. So I'm a former hacker. I used to be a hacker. I would hack into the vBulletin databases. This is way back in the day. I was one of the biggest hackers for Dish Network, for EchoStar. I have a permanent injunction from there. I've made crazy money with that business. But I will say the thrill in the beginning, in the early stage of my life, started with that Pringles can. So back then you had laptops, you had an 802.11G card. Wi-Fi was very, very limited to how far you could go with the little card. I would take a hanger, solder it on to the Wi-Fi board at the other end, connect it into the Pringles can with a grounding rod and put it on a tripod, and it would extend the Wi-Fi range. There was no blockage at the time. All the Wi-Fis were open. There was no encryption, no security layers. I'll go to sender base, figure out the SMTP. As soon as I get the SMTP, immediately go out and send emails, start email blasting. So go into vBulletin databases, get the emails, load it up into either group mail or dark mailer, bam, shoot out emails, start hitting inbox. I was inbox king. We hit 500,000 emails in a matter of 3-4 hours. No problem, no sweat. Bam. Then switch around subjects, switch around things, but it gave me a thrill. The thrill was I had a plugin on my site that would show me every time somebody would come, and it would see ding, 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 all the visitors coming. And then right away when people check out and they're buying, ching, ching, So it's a thrill. It was more like seeing the power of being able to do something and what you can create and innovate. So I like to create. I like to I like to do things that are wild, fun, exciting, and that are challenging. And when I can conquer that challenge or get around it, it gives me a thrill of excitement.
So it was almost like the thrill came from accomplishing something that the average man hadn't done at that time. And it was like, oh, I've got it. And that just happened to be a Pringle scan. I love this kind of.
It's like a strategy.
Yeah.
I like strategy. I like, give me something complicated and give me a puzzle that I need to figure out. Give me something that you say is, okay, how are we we have a short window. So I like short windows and something complicated. And, let me strategize. I like pressure.
Okay.
I work very well under pressure.
Okay, well, that's an interesting point. Okay, working well under pressure. A lot of people nowadays, I mean, I don't know how old you are, but I'm 55.
40.
Okay, so you're 15 years younger than me, but you're still not a kid. So you've been around the block a few times too. People talk about stress nowadays, and it's a big thing in corporate culture, stress management and how we cope with stress. And to me, I thrive on stress.
Same.
The more pressure you put me under, the more it kind of like exciting it becomes.
I love it.
So it's the same, yeah?
I'm the same way because it's an emotion, right? So an emotion, you can control your emotion and how it makes you feel. You have to realize something. Stress is coming through other people, other situations from people. But once you know how to block those people for the time that you need to, hey, the world's not going to end. 30 minutes, block them out. Just block out the noise. 30 minutes, put them away. They're not going nowhere. Let them spin their wheels in a circle. Their job is to try to derail you. Your job is to compartmentalize them. Once you understand the art of compartmentalizing those people, it's a whole different game. Once they know that you know how to compartmentalize them, the whole stress turns right back on them. So what is stress? It's an emotion. What if the feeling of positive or negative? What if it was the negative was a positive and a positive was a negative? So you have to think of all these different scenarios and this logic in your head, right?
So if that's the case, and I don't disagree, okay, why do you think society and corporate USA, corporate everywhere, okay, has decided to look at that differently and say stress is a problem for people?
Medication.
Because they want to sell tablets.
Pharmaceuticals. The pharmaceutical industry. People need to feel a certain way.
It's interesting, isn't it? When you put it. So
you know the game, how it is?
So at the end of the day, we'll accept that stress exists. We'll allow people to realize that that they've got a problem, and let's medicate them to make sure that we can handle their problem. But then there's the people that think outside the box, people like us, that look at it differently and say, hey, this is just opportunity for us. And stress for me, whenever I'm under stress, I know there's some money to be made. I don't know why.
100%.
Yeah.
100%, because it's the same thing, right? When it's like you're saying, like when you have problems, then you have something good that comes out of the problems. But you have to be able to see the positive in the negative. And you have to be able to identify that nothing in life is a negative. It's part of growth. The more negative that comes, the bigger you're meant to become in life, the more you're meant to achieve. You're meant to go further.
Who taught you to think like that?
Myself.
How?
With a lot of work. A lot of self-development work, a lot of work just falling down, getting up, falling down, getting up, being uber ambitious, trying to do wild, crazy things, risking, I put my money where my mouth is. That's one thing people know about me. I'm not sitting here running around trying to, walk around with a business plan and say, hey, put X in X, give out some cash. Yeah. I work, I'll start working, I'll figure shit out, I'll get it done, I'll keep rolling like that. So
I have a friend of mine that's a billionaire, and I said, what motivates you? What makes you excited? He said, money. He just looked me straight in the eye. He said, money. I said, what do you mean money? I said, there's got to be something more. And he went, why? I quite like making money. He said, in fact, I love making money. And that's very unusual for someone to say. Now, he's a little bit older than both of us, but it was that straightforward response of, I like making money. I'm excited to make money. I'm not trying to solve a problem in the world. I'm not trying to come up with a cure like a lot of these people in their tech startup world seem to be trying to find. I just like making money. What about you?
Inspiring.
You like inspiring people?
Mhm.
Why?
Because because you build an emotional connection, and that's how you build a brand. And once you build a brand, the money you make is on a whole other level than just if you're focusing on making money. You can make money doing 100 things. Not all those things are fun. I was printing money, and I wanted to get out of a business that I was in. I started with 20 products. I had over 2,000 products. I was importing from China when people didn't even know that you could import from China. There was no Alibaba that existed. There was no Import Genius. There was nothing. I mean, I had guys inside customs that we had assistance from getting knowledge on suppliers of certain companies and industries I wanted to get in and things like that, right? I mean, this is like way, way, way back. But I wasn't having fun. I wanted to have fun. And through the fun that I wanted to have, and by transforming my life, it helped me transform my vision and transform my mentality. Because at one point, for me, it was all about money too. But guess what? I did it. I got everything that I wanted that was related to material. But material doesn't give you it doesn't give you one thing. Money will buy material, but money will put you on the right path of living a good life, a comfortable life, but it doesn't necessarily give you happiness. It won't put that right person that you want, that's going to be by your side, that's going to help you grow, is not going to come with the money. Because that person is not going to be about money. They're not going to care about whether you have 1 million, 10 million, or 1 billion. Because let's face it, whether you have 10 million or 100 million, you could do the same thing. Whether you have 100 million or 1 billion, you could do the same thing. There's really no difference. It's just about it's just about the size of your asset portfolio at that point, right? Do you have X amount of real estate or do you have X amount of real estate? Why? That's just all that matters. So I learned over time that getting everything, all the toys, all the cars, the private plane, the jet, this, that, it ultimately will give you draw a lot of attention. You'll get a lot of negative people in your life too. You'll get a lot of leechers. You'll get all kinds of, people that they're fake friends. They want to be there for certain reasons, but it won't give you that ultimate satisfaction that you're looking for.
Do you think that you're on a mission?
I think that I've identified my purpose. I think that in the beginning, if you asked me this question 13 years ago, when I first got in the health and fitness industry, because I wanted to follow my passion and a dream that I had, I would never be able to answer it in this way. But I think that because of the way things have happened and how many opportunities are coming to me in different areas and people that see my before and after, it outweighs everything. And I'm saying this today looking from the outside in. So as if I'm not talking on behalf of myself, right? More people have shown keenness to want to align with me, and have been impressed with me based off my before and after and what I actually did hard work. And they could see that there's no shortcuts. There's nothing anywhere. It's real, genuine hard work that goes into it to do it and to maintain it and to build and grow from it than anything else. And I feel like that's the biggest asset that I have is the work ethic and the discipline and the ability to sacrifice certain things for a much bigger picture. So yeah, I think there is a mission here. And I think the mission is I wouldn't even just say make America healthy again, but it's the world in general. Because if you think about health, it's not about physical, it's mental. And this has become a problem more and more since social media started, because everybody is trying to be like somebody else, not realizing that other person has their own problems, that is pretending to be living an amazing life. And they're not. And then they're going and buying a course from this guy, buying a course from that guy. And none of these people have experience in anything. They're just trying to milk and make money from left, right, and center. So yeah, people are clouded by what's been going on social media. And it's a problem. It's like if you look at TikTok in the US, the content is all, it has nothing, it's complete opposite from what it is in China. China, it's an educational platform.
It's interesting. I look at that issue that we face with people wanting to develop and grow, and the world is full of mediocrity. And it's like, to me, that's the illness.
Mm-hmm.
Mediocrity seems to be what everybody pursues.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's not necessarily that difficult to shine, because most people are just settling.
Yep.
And when I look at the people that I've interviewed, whether it be billionaires, multimillionaires, whatever it may be, successful people, it's like there's mission and purpose around what they do. And that mission and purpose, instead of them having to force themselves out of bed every day, it literally pulls them out of bed every morning. And so the alarm goes off and the eyelids open, and it's like gratitude, as in I get to take this day on, as opposed to here we go, there's another day coming. You understand that, of course, yeah? When you talk about inspiring people and you talk about all of the stuff, and we'll come onto your businesses in a while, okay? For me, I look at it and I'm like, my job with the content that I make is to get people to understand that mediocrity isn't the best version of themselves. Now, I don't like all these people that sell courses that have never achieved that thing themselves.
Yes.
But I also do believe that there's nothing better than a great mentor. If there's someone there that has walked in the shoes you want to walk in, okay, so would you ever learn to speak Spanish from someone that doesn't speak Spanish? No, of course not. Absolutely not, yeah? So and I said my daughters when they left university, I don't want you to go and find a job that pays you any money. Go and work for somebody that can teach you business in real terms and work for free.
Yes.
I'll give you money. Just work for free. Do whatever they say for the next 6 months. And after 6 months, say, have I been good enough to be offered a junior role here? Okay. Nobody's going to refuse that. You're willing to work for free and you'll get great lessons. But I find that there's this real lack of desire. People have this real lack of desire to want to become something. The fear of failure, the fear of judgment of others seems to be kind of resonating with everyone at all times.
They're scared of what other people think or what people are going to think of them if they fail. But once you realize there is no such thing as failure, when you realize that there's no such thing as failure, and the only person that's failing is the one that's not trying. Because if you don't try, you're never going to learn.
So is the difference between you, uber successful, and the guy standing next to you that isn't, just the stories that you tell yourselves?
I wouldn't say the stories. I would say the ability to move forward and take the risk.
But if you tell yourself a story of I can't, I won't be able to, what if I fail? That's a story that's going to stop you moving forward.
Two things. Well, some people don't even have the rationale to tell the story, but it's the surroundings. The most important is the surroundings, because you're either going to have people that are going to uplift you and that are like-minded. If you're surrounded by 4 other people that are all on a mission to do something, trust me, you're going to want to do something, or else you're going to become the laughing stock of the crowd. But if you're surrounded by deadbeats, then guess what's going to happen? You're not going to be motivated, no matter how ambitious you may be, no matter what type of a goal you may have, no matter anything. They're going to derail you because they're not ambitious.
So then when you look back at your childhood, was there a point in your childhood where you had some form of trauma? Was there a point in your childhood where you looked at somebody and they were your hero and you wanted to be like them? If you listen to Arnold Schwarzenegger's story,
McMahon.
Okay, Vince McMahon.
Yes.
Tell me how and why.
He's a beast. I mean, look at what he created.
Well, for everybody that doesn't know who he is, let's just share.
Vince McMahon created single-handedly, but with hard work and working 16, 18, 20-hour days, which people don't see and understand what goes on behind the scenes, an empire that is the largest media platform in the world. People look at wrestling, they'll say, oh, wrestling is fake. It's this, it's that. Okay, what are movies? Movies are fake too.
Yeah.
Right? Movies are fake.
Sure.
Listen, I'm in the movie industry. It's a big magic trick. The whole movie is a big magic trick. Why do you watch movies if movies are fake? So I tell people all the time, like, okay, if wrestling is that fake, why don't we do one thing? Why don't you come and let me hit you with a chair on your back, or let me throw you and toss you into a table, and why don't you tell me how fake that is? It's choreographed, it's rehearsed, just like Cirque du Soleil. It's choreographed, it's rehearsed, but it's also athletics It's live. You have no room for error, right? Whereas other things, other areas, you have room. So, I mean, look, people look at all these other sports like, oh yeah, that's real. This is that. Okay, but this is an entertainment. It's arts and entertainment.
Mhm.
So what Vince McMahon did, he took bodybuilding, arts and entertainment, Cirque du Soleil, sport, combined and said, hey, we're going to create a new category here called sports and entertainment. And then eventually diversified and then created the platform. And then his people went into movies and so on and so forth. Look at The Rock today. You think The Rock would be that big and where he is without the WWE support? He's still back in the WWE on the board of the parent company.
So what did Vince do for you? What was it that
He created a product that I got addicted to.
Okay, tell me that.
He created a product. The product was their shows. The product was the characters. Okay, the characters. The character of Hulk Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
The character of Macho Man Randy Savage. The character of Bret the Hitman Hart. The character of Shawn Michaels. The character of Razor Ramon. The character of Diesel. Kevin Nash. Created these larger-than-life characters and branded them and made them emotionally connect with the audience, where even though the audience knows it's choreographed, they are still emotionally attached to it. And if a person won or lost, if their hero lost, they would be sitting in tears. You would have 20, 30, 50,000 people sitting in tears. Now, that is genius. That's an art. You're creating brands on the fly. You're creating storylines on the fly. Each episode is a new thing. Every single week you're live from 1 show to 2 shows to 3 shows. It's not simple.
And did that excite you?
That excites me, yeah.
And so that's how you got involved in it in the first place.
That's how I start. That's how
you became a fan.
I was a fan. I've been watching it since I'm like 2. It's kind of the one thing that I've always been following, yeah. Plus another thing, it's creative. So each character has their own identity, is their own brand, their own color.
Yeah.
Their own color scheme, their own everything.
So everyone gets to choose their hero.
Everyone gets to choose their hero.
And so you get involved in that. Tell me when you got involved in that from a commercial point of view, what was your angle? So you were literally just a fan.
I was just a fan. And what happened is when I was 11, I decided to build a website. I used to always go into IRC chat channels. I used to go into AOL. And I used to just go in there and I would just pull the news. I would also call the 1-900 number. I would get all the news. I would start posting it on the internet. And that's how I started. I started monetizing it by knowing that you can serve ads. And I had a company in New York that I had an ad account through, like they were serving ads on my site. And the more visitors I got, the longer they stayed on the site, the more I would get paid. And then eventually, about 1.5 years, 2 years into it, I went upwards of earning about $30,000 to $40,000 per month, which in today's world is about a couple $100,000 a month, US, which in Canada was 1.55.
And you were how old?
I was, when I was making that much, about 13 and a half, 14.
That's just nuts.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're sitting there. Let's go back to the puzzle, because when you mentioned puzzle, it's a puzzle. I'm trying to work it out. So you're trying to work out, how do I keep these people on this site longer so I can get more ad revenue in? Okay, and so you're working there with the algorithms and you're trying to understand.
Right.
Okay, puzzle, solving a puzzle.
So at that point, it was all about content.
Okay.
So you have to keep people engaged. So you have to have good content. So my puzzle was simple. Call the 1-900 number and keep calling and racking up the phone bill. But while I'm doing that, which I was spending about $1,000, $1,500 a month in the phone bill coming in the beginning, right? The problem, if the puzzle that I was trying to solve is I realized, and I knew about 3-4 months into it, that every 1-900 number has a 1-800 number. You can't have a 1-900 number without a 1-800 number. So I was trying to find the 1-800 number to the 1-900 number, which I eventually found and I got. And when I got the 1-800 number, guess what? I was getting everything for free because I had the backdoor access to the 1-800 number.
Amazing.
Yes.
And so how long did you run that business for?
For 4 years.
And mum and dad knew everything about it?
Yeah.
Okay. And mum and dad at first initially a little bit?
I mean, it was a little crazy because I was skipping school.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, I would forward my house line to my cell phone. And every time the school would call, I would pretend I'm my dad on the phone. He's sick. He's not coming in. I did it for 2 months straight, 2.5 months straight. I didn't go in. I would just, I would have at times limousines just pick me up whenever I did go to school. For a whole semester straight, I had limousines pick me up. They banned limos in the school compound. They had the police come to the school to raid my locker and check everything because they thought I was selling drugs. I mean, all kinds of things happen. All kinds of things.
I want to know the conversation around the dinner table with dad and mum though. What the hell were they thinking and saying?
It was, my dad was really upset with me because he wanted me to finish school and wanted me to stay in school. And, but I was just like, hey, listen, I'm making more money than my principal in 1 month. Why do I need to stay in school? Right? If I'm making his annual salary in a month, what do I need school for? That was my response. Today, I realized the importance of education. Today, I realized that, you're limited without that. I mean, look, not everybody can do this. Not everybody can just say, hey, I dropped out of school and do whatever. There's a lot of super successful people that did, but you have to be like in that mindset. It's just, it's not, you got to give and take somewhere.
It's interesting because when you started the business with the wrestling business,
yes,
your first interest wasn't making a lot of money when you first started.
No,
there's
a passion.
It was being involved in
it's passion. Yeah, it's passion. So that's and then that's what I get back at. It's not just about money. Do I love making money? Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, I'd be lying if I said I don't love making money. I am 100% money motivated, but with certain principles. And because if I was based off my skill set and my talent that I have behind the computer, there's a lot of other things I can do to make money. There's a lot of other industries I could tap into to make money, but it's not just about the money. It's about having fun doing it. It's about building a life I don't need a vacation from. It's about helping people, in a certain way, like helping them figure out their inner selves. And, like I always say, inspire, empower, motivate, dominate. That's what it is.
Inspire, empower, motivate, dominate.
Dominate. That's it. Ultimately, it comes to dominate.
Love it.
You have to dominate.
Now, what's interesting about this, though, is that you're running a business, you're cleaning up by earning the kind of money you're earning as a kid at school. I mean, it's bonkers, the numbers, yeah? But all the while you were doing that and you were focusing on that, you were letting another part of your life go.
Correct. Without realizing it.
And so you weren't aware of becoming overweight. You
Absolutely not.
Oblivious to it because you're just a kid and you're having fun doing what you're doing, making money.
And back in those days, I don't think anybody was. I mean, this whole health conscious craze and all that just started about 7 years ago. It wasn't really there before. I mean, go back to the 80s, go back to the 90s. There was no like whole health conscious craze that was there. This all started very recently. It started after social media. Social media, and then people looking at others and, wanting to be like other people and so on and so forth. So I didn't even realize that I was gaining weight. I didn't even realize I had no insecurities. I mean, at my peak, I was over 450 pounds and I didn't know. I didn't know the difference. I didn't know it. I was young.
So what was the trigger then for you
to lose it?
To realize it? How did it, you didn't wake up one day and go, fuck, I'm fat. I mean, you woke up one day and you went, what?
Well, at one point I was like,
were you sick?
No, I wasn't sick. One of the things was I was always shopping at Mr. Big and Tall. So I was at that, there was no size bigger at that point. It was 68 inches. You can't get any bigger. And said, okay, well, I reached the tail end over here. Then Facebook came out. And then I wanted to reconnect with my friends from high school because at that point I had moved from Montreal to Vancouver. So all my high school friends were in Montreal. And I said, I don't want anybody to see what I look like now, like how overweight and how big I was and stuff, right? And, at one point I was just like, okay, I bought a car also that I couldn't fit in. I got the car delivered from Montreal to Vancouver, and I couldn't fit in the car. Couldn't sit in the car. Couldn't close the window. Couldn't close the door. Couldn't close anything. So it was a serious problem.
Was it a Mini?
No, it wasn't a Mini. It was a Porsche.
Okay, there's a compact by comparison. Okay, small sports car. So you can get it. And how did that make you feel?
I am an extremist. So what I said to myself that day is, today's the day I'm going to start and I'm going to lose weight. And what did I do? I went on an extreme diet. The first time I went on the treadmill, I could only go 60 seconds, barely. My heart rate would go up like it was nuts. And then slowly, I started to do more. I started to go on a diet. I was, at one point I was eating sub 1,000 calories a day. I drank distilled water for a month straight. But I did lose 88 pounds in the first 3 months.
As a percentage though, what were you, 450 to losing 88?
I wouldn't look at it as a percentage because, water, your body is comprised mostly of water. Because I lost a lot of water weight.
What did that do? You get to the end, you get on the scales every day, every week? What was happening?
I was obsessed with the scale. Today, I never get on the scale. Never. I was obsessed. I had the whole mentality of the scale. Oh my God, I'm a pound heavier. Oh my God, I'm a pound lighter. Oh my God, I'm this. Now, first advice I give anybody, the scale is deceiving. Never look at the scale. Always go by how you feel. Because when you can't the mistake that I made, I was just doing cardio. I wasn't doing anything else. So at one point, I became really small, but my body wasn't toned. And then I had to work backwards to build muscle back on. And that took over 7 years. So it takes a lot of time because you'll burn muscle too at the same time. If you don't eat enough for the proteins, if you don't eat at certain times, there's all kinds of science that goes into this. So
were you on this journey learning the science, or on this journey we just like, hell man, I've got to get rid of this weight.
I just got to get rid of it. I was like, first I'm going to go this way. And then I never thought I never wanted to do weights. I'm never going to be, I was looking at like people that do like bodybuilding this time, like, no way, I'm never going to want to do that. I'm never going to want to, and I turned around the other way. I mean, listen, when you say never, you never say never. That's the best way to put it.
So how long did this journey of weight loss last?
Wow, it's been going on. It's a never-ending journey.
Are you when you hear about people that are alcoholics and they give up, they say, I'm still an alcoholic, but I'm in recovery, or they give up smoking, I'm still a smoker, but I'm not smoking at the moment. Do you feel when you put so much weight on and then went through this journey of losing weight, do you feel that you're never fully recovered? Do you think that you can go on vacation for 2 weeks and you can mess it all up very easily?
I mean, you won't mess it all up very easily. No, absolutely not. I mean, once you get to a certain body fat percentage, you can't go from being 10% body fat to being 20% overnight. Right? You have to be you just can't. It doesn't matter what you eat, doesn't matter what you do. You can. Yeah, you can hold on to water. You'll have a lot of sodium. You'll feel bloated. Your face will look puffy. You'll look puffy in general, but that'll go away after 3 days. So it takes a lot longer to gain it than it does to lose it.
But you're embarrassed to be fat.
When I was? Nope.
Do you feel shame?
Nope.
Did people tease you?
Not really, because I had money. See?
Interesting.
That's the difference.
That's really interesting, isn't it?
That's the major, because I had money.
And all of your friends around you, by comparison to you, weren't even on the same page, were they, from a financial point of view?
Nope.
So people didn't judge you because you had money.
Exactly.
What did that teach you?
It taught me that, today it taught me that people are yes men. I hate yes men.
Oh man, this is so important.
I hate yes men.
Talk to me about trust. How do you trust people?
I don't. I have a very small group of people that I trust, and that's it. I give people benefit of the doubt. I let people, hey, this is what it is. There's a vetting process. With me now, with everybody, they go through a vetting process. If they make sense, we give a chance, but there's no second, third, fourth, fifth chances. The amount of times I've been betrayed on things is I can't even count, right? I'm talking from all angles. But yeah, no, I trust myself. I go with my gut feeling. I don't think I'm ever going to be closed off on things, because when you're closed off on things, what happens is you can shut down certain opportunities. So you have to learn to trust, but also learn to have a good team around you that is working in your best interest, that also understands and that properly oversees things.
Going back to that time that you were overweight and had money, were you getting laid because you had money?
Yes.
You were?
Yes.
Okay, because that's interesting, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so people have, body dysmorphia and body issues because they're overweight, but you're like almost still getting the perks of being slim.
I had everything.
Yeah, which to me means the weight loss journey is almost twice as hard, because it wasn't so painful. The girl you really wanted to be with wouldn't even look you in the eye, yet you were getting that. It's funny. What is it they say? A beautiful woman's the same value as a very wealthy man. Okay, so, that's how they see it. But so because it's interesting, most people just like, no, I was really this happened and that happened and negative, and I was like, no more. It's not happening.
Women don't just go for looks. It's the confidence.
No, women don't go for looks. Women go for money.
Not all, not just.
Most of them.
Yeah, most of them go for money.
Yeah.
Most of them go for money. Yes, most of them go for money, but confidence. Also, confidence. It takes confidence.
Swagger, yeah. I get that. But if you're a broke pizza delivery guy with confidence,
you'll do okay in the luxury town. She'll keep you on the side, but she'll still be with the guy with the money. But if you're the pizza delivery guy and you got the confidence, like you still have a shot.
You get a bit of action.
You'll get a bit of action. It's true.
I find that really interesting, because you've gone. To me, I look at your journey in that respect, and I'm like, it was harder. I went on a weight loss journey of 10 kilos. So let's put it into perspective here. That was big ass stuff for me.
Yeah.
That was difficult, massive discipline, massive concentration, and a real. I had a nutritionist called Mary, who's a very beautiful lady, and Mary would call me up every day, and my scales were attached to her mobile phone.
Mm-hmm.
So every time I stepped on the scales, it popped up on her phone, and she'd be like, "What are you eating?" And it was that pressure every day that got me on that kind of cycle of doing the right thing, and I loved it. So I have different ways to work for different people, but I loved it. But this to me, 10 kilos was an enormous undertaking, but by comparison to yours, it's nothing.
Yeah.
But you weren't doing it. The lady that won Slimmer of the Year in the UK a few years ago, she was sat outside of McDonald's eating her burger. She's in the car, sat outside McDonald's, and 2 kids went past on their mountain bikes and threw their burgers through the window and said, "Hey, have some of that, fatso." And she said, in that moment, I was so incredibly humiliated, I went, never again. And that line was drawn, and that was it, never again. And that's what that shift she had in that moment. She went off to lose a huge amount of weight, become really successful at losing weight.
Right.
But it needed that moment. It's that moment that you sit down with the doctor and he says, "One more cigarette, buddy, you're going to get lung cancer."
Yeah. Breaking point.
Yeah. You didn't have that though, because you're sitting there, you're making the coin, you're having a nice life, you're putting weight on, but then you're like, "No, I can't do this anymore." That takes an extra something.
The breaking point.
What was that for you? Because I can't see a breaking point in your story.
My breaking point comes in my own head. It's very, I don't know how to explain this. Like I know for one day I'll wake up and I'll just be like, it could be any situation, kind of like what it was with my weight loss or any other industry I want to tap into. Sorry, today's the day. Switch gears. It's just
I don't buy that.
It's true.
I don't buy that.
It's true.
I see.
It's true.
There's something more powerful at play in our decision-making processes. There's something for you to mistrust somebody, like you said, with 2-3 chances. Okay, we'll start with this. Okay, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then you go, okay, knew it. Okay, or well, there you go. It's proven that you can be trusted a bit more. It's this decision-making stuff. For everybody, when they make a decision, it's like, I'm making a decision and this is non-negotiable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And to make a non-negotiable decision for most people, okay, there's something very clear in their mind. It's like, I'm going to fix this problem. I'm going to solve this because it really matters. The really matter bit, though, come from where?
Most of the things is when people say, or I hear things, he can't do this, or he's not going to be able to do this, or people making up stories, or, they being jealous or saying one thing or the other. It's really, okay, all right, you say this, all right, watch me work. It's like a checkmate kind of a thing.
It is.
I'm very competitive.
Yeah, but it's I'm
very competitive.
I'll show you,
yeah.
That's what it is.
If I want something, like, I take it. Like, there's nothing stopping me. I'll be like, okay, you know what? I'm waiting. It'll be 2 years, 3 years later. All right, I'm coming for that. I'm coming for it now.
It's like nothing more powerful than me saying to you, I don't believe you can do that. It's kind of like, oh yeah. It's kind of like, you want to try me? It's that kind of.
That's what it is. Yes, that's what it is.
That's you.
Yes, that's what it is.
So
that's what it is.
When someone says that something's not possible, I don't believe you can do it. Definitely other people can, but you can't. That's like the red rag to the bull.
Correct.
So there is the trigger. Okay, now I'm getting to it.
Because every time I try to do something good and something big or anything like that, or I'm trying to pursue a dream or something, the people that are close to me or that I feel are close to me will say something or throw something in a way where, because they can't do it or they don't have access to it, they'll try to undermine what I'm doing to try to make me feel that I can't do it, or I shouldn't do it because I can't, or I'm not, that's not for me. And that just triggers me. I'm like, you know what? I'm like, all right, it's all good. No problem. Just sit back. But also, in the past, I used to pre-advertise. I used to pre-announce every move I would make. I would tell everybody everything before it would happen. And then they're, they say, right? Don't tell people, show them. Don't tell them, because if you start telling your stuff and your secrets, you attract a lot of evil eye, a lot of bad energy, and it could roadblock your stuff so many times. People, like 95% of the people don't have good intentions. So
at least.
So I decided that now, and it took me a very long time because I just figured this out about less than 6 months ago. I decided, I'm not telling anybody anything. Keep everyone on a need to know basis. The amount of things I have lined up right now that nobody has a clue of is like, it takes whatever I've done till today look like nothing, look small. But I don't want to tell anybody, because every time I do something, well, they're thinking one thing. So now everybody thinks, oh, now he's gone to movies, so he's a movie star. He's gonna become a movie star now, right? They laugh at it. When you do one, they laugh at it. But the people that laugh at things are the ones that don't have the courage to pursue anything on their own. And it's only people that are behind you that are going to be talking. It's never people ahead. So you have to learn to surround yourself with people that have more, that are better, that are, more knowledgeable in certain things, right? So for me, I enjoy that because I'm like, all right, this person's really going to challenge and stimulate my brain. Whereas someone that's behind me, what the hell is he going to do? Sit there and be like, oh my God, what you're doing is amazing. And then go in a crowd of people and start laughing about it. But then again, what they don't realize is it brings more negativity into their own life. And they're miserable. They're all miserable people.
Yes. There's this funny thing where I believe your friends, they don't have to be always that. What they have to be is aligned with your way of thinking. They can challenge you, but they get why you do what they do, rather than understand what you do and they think you're nuts.
Mm-hmm.
They get that because, okay, well, that makes sense. There's some logic to it. I also think a lot of people that go through that success ladder often, though, surround themselves with employees that are lesser than them, are not able to become as good as them because it serves their ego.
Correct.
Whereas the goal should be to surround yourself with smarter people than you.
100%.
Not easy to do, okay, but to be humble enough and vulnerable enough to put yourself in a position where you can bring somebody around the table into the room that can be more like that for you.
That's the only way you're going to learn and grow. That's the only way.
I'm glad we got to the trigger because I think this is important. Okay? I think people need to know, okay? Because there's people that are going to be watching this right now that they need to know what it is.
Yes.
Because when they can put their finger on it, they're like, okay, because everyone's been...
I'm very observant. So I will sit back and I'll watch and I'll study a person's moves. I'll study their move. I'll study what they do, how to do it. And before I pull the trigger and execute, I'm extremely well calculated and strategic. But when I go for something, I don't stop. I'm relentless.
So planning, strategy, everything goes into it before the trigger's pulled. But when the trigger is pulled, when you know
Right.
you're pulling the trigger because you know it's going to work.
Oh, it's go time. I ain't playing no chicken with nobody. Like, I'm going. Like, if I say we're going for that kill shot, we're going for the number one, we're going to win. If I'm gonna go into the Le Mans, you better believe I'm winning the Le Mans. I'm not going in there to be second. If I'm entering an industry to be at the top of the industry, it may take me 5 years, it may take me 10 years, it may take me 15 years. It doesn't matter how long it takes me. I am not stopping until I'm at the top.
Okay, so here's a question for you. You got two choices.
Tell me.
Simple number.
Tell me.
We'll just keep it simple for the benefit of everyone. You can earn $1 million, okay, and be number two, or you can earn $500,000 and be number one.
500,000. Winning.
So
That's it.
this is so interesting because now it's like there's something in you that's like, I'll fucking show you. I will show you. Yeah? Okay. And it's not about the money. It's about I need to win.
I need to win.
It's like not I need to win so I can look down at you, but I need to win because glory really matters.
So you want to know what goes on in my head?
Please.
Once a day. Have you seen the movie Bad Boys?
Yeah.
The first one?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a Shelby Cobra, a Porsche 911, they're racing.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the end, there's a small little opening, and there's only one car that can fit in the opening, right? And I'm always playing the scenario in my head. I'm like, in the end, it's going to be this tight. I'm going to pass right through. Doesn't matter in what.
That's so funny.
I will take on anyone and anything. I don't care who it is.
It's so funny. This happened in that way to me last week. I damaged 2 wheels on my car because I literally I'm going to get through. Okay. And I went toe to toe with this other car and I caught the wheels on the curve.
As a crazy story.
Go on.
About that, let me tell you a crazy story. It's going to go on. This is no problem.
Are you enjoying this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You
I'll
can't.
tell you a really crazy story. I had a police helicopter chase me. You won't see it. I had a police helicopter chase me in Vancouver, and they couldn't catch me. So the story.
What were you were driving?
So I'll tell you, I was driving. I was coming back from downtown. It was about 2:00 in the morning. I had my dad's car. This was about maybe this was in 2013. It was S63 AMG. I was coming back, doing about 220, 230, 240, straight from downtown Vancouver, right? The chopper was chasing me. I was racing with somebody on the freeway. And what happened is I had a condo there that was at the first exit after a bridge. I literally went, I took the exit. I didn't know any chopper was chasing me. I had no clue what was going on. They were trying to send cops at every exit, but I was flying so fast, the cops couldn't catch me. So 2 further exits down, they had set up a spike belt, and I didn't know. Okay, so I took the exit, my condo, underground parking. I go in, garage, boom, straight underground. By the time they could figure it out, they saw the car. They couldn't see any of the information. They couldn't come inside. It's all gated. It's all locked, but they got the plate. So I flew back the next morning. It was a late Saturday night and early morning Sunday. I had a flight and I flew to Montreal from Vancouver. So what to do on Monday, because we were, we had a lot of relationships, so we know all the police people and everybody there in Vancouver. They called my dad and they said, "Hey, we need you to come to the station. We have something we need you to watch." So he comes to the station with my mom, and they say they make him watch this video, and it's me. They're like, "This is nuts! Like, he's like a stunt driver. He should be in movies or something, Fast and Furious." They showed them the video. They showed them the video of the whole thing, and they're like, "We know it's not you driving. Who was driving?" He's like, "My son. Where is he? He's not here. He's gone to Montreal." They're like, "Listen, he should be in movies doing stunt driving or something. This is absolutely crazy, but he needs to, like, it was not, I got my ass handed to me that day. I got my ass handed to me. But, and it was about winning. It doesn't matter. You're going at me. I did the same thing on Vincent Thomas Bridge with an Aston Martin. I was Aston Martin. My friend was sitting in the car. There was a Porsche next to me, wanted to race. There was this much window, narrow like this, and I went in the side lane like this and passed him. Late at night. That's how I am. But adrenaline gets me going.
Okay, well, that's a great segue. Let's talk about limitless.
Yes.
Now I know what makes you tick. Now I've got an understanding, and hopefully you've been comfortable sharing this kind of stuff, because this is what people can identify in themselves. How did limitless start? Where was the idea from? Has it got something to do with losing weight and creating a better life for yourself physically? And if so, how?
So limitless was a word that was given to me, was coined to me by a friend of mine from Vancouver who came to visit me in LA in 2014. And he said, because of the amount of things that we got done in a day, we're going from one destination to the other. So he's like, "Your life is limitless, man." He's like, "This is crazy." He's like, how much things you get done in a day. You're doing one thing on the phone. You're driving this fast. You're going here. You're going there. He's like, "This is like a movie." So then what happened? I had another friend, and this friend of mine, he had a formulation to a capsule, and that formulation was a focus, like to be able to focus. And
limitless, like the movie.
Like the movie.
Okay, yeah.
Which, if you want to die laughing, till today I haven't seen the entire movie.
Okay.
So I never knew there was a movie called Limitless, and I never knew there was a product called NZT48 that was in the movie.
Okay.
I went to go see NZT48, that it was part of the movie, and it was a focus pill. But in the movie, like the guy Bradley Cooper takes it, and he becomes this whole new person, right? Changes his life, everything. So the trademark was abandoned. I went and registered the trademark. So I created the product, right? Today, I have the product. From the same product from the movie Limitless, which is basically a focus pill, right? And that focus...
Does it work?
It works, 100%. We have it in one capsule.
What's in it?
There's a bunch of ingredients, alpha GPC, there's a whole bunch of different ingredients. But
natural ingredients or chemicals as well?
Supplements. Like not. We have an all natural version also. We have 3 versions of it. One of them is all natural with the lion's mane. There's another one that's for her, and there's another one that's the regular one, which is a stimulating.
Was this the first product you came out with?
Yes.
And
supplements.
And you were selling it?
We were selling it
in big numbers.
Huge numbers.
Is that where you, after making money doing your kids' business, where you were coining it in, was that then the next level for you with Limitless? Was that the
No. Before that, when I got into health stuff was in Canada. I was doing stores. So I had a chain of supplement stores. But I wasn't doing regular supplement stores. I was doing modern health boutiques. So remember, for me, everything is about creative. I like to... You take the same thing, but you package it differently.
Yeah.
So when I was overweight, I didn't feel comfortable walking into these, these hardcore bodybuilding supplement stores and things like that. So I wanted to create something that's more fun, that's more modern, boutique style, with, what feels comforting. You can walk in, you can have a little sports bar, you have your shake, you watch games, all of that stuff, and then you get your supplements, and there's a food bar. And you can get, healthy salads, wraps, all of that stuff.
And so that's what you did. And then how many of those did you have across Canada?
So I sold a few franchises. I had a franchising model, right? And I had 3 corporate stores. So the problem is I had a business that I was doing at the time that was allowing me to keep opening more and more and more of these stores. That business, I could talk about it openly now. I have an injunction from it and everything. I can't touch anything to do with streaming signals, but everything switched in that business because it was gray market. What I was doing in Canada, which in the US you would consider black market, it was actually gray. So at one point when I went from making this much to making this much overnight. And I wasn't able to sustain my vision and to be able to grow it. Plus, I didn't have the right back-end team, nor did I understand corporate structure.
So you failed.
I learned.
Yeah, but you failed.
Yeah, and in that,
And you learned some valuable lessons from that. Okay, how did you see that at the time, based around your ego?
I thought the world was okay. So based around my ego, I thought I was pissed. I was blaming everybody else. I was blaming everybody else. I was extremely pissed. I was wondering what everybody would think of me because it was really all based on, my image and who I was based on money. So I was always looking at what are other people going to think? I can't close the store down. What are other people going to think? Right. And then I had a good friend of mine. The mistake that I made, aside from not having the right team that looked in their best interest and understanding the corporate structure and actually understanding the industry, I understood weight loss and I did it for real, but I didn't understand the industry. And where I messed up too is I signed 3 leases in 3 different cities that are coast to coast all at the same time. So Montreal, Vancouver, Toronto. And I wanted to do them all at once. And then when I got so many franchise applications that were all accredited, I got scared to sell them the franchises because I created a marketing hype and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So I myself didn't know what I was doing. In an industry that is so backwards, I made the thing look so good and so nice that it was more of a perception type thing. And I could have taken everybody's money in and done it, but I didn't do it. And that's another part that I could have really grown the business. But again, I'm glad I didn't do that because I didn't have the right team on the other end. So it would have been a massive disaster.
What was the biggest learning from that experience?
From that experience was don't rush into things and go slow and steady, because it doesn't matter what you do, it's still going to be a 7-year plan. It doesn't matter if you go super fast and then you have a slower growth or you go slow with a faster growth. It's better to go slow with a faster growth because then you could see the mistakes, you could learn, and don't do things for others. See, I was doing it out of ego too. For me, making a store and spending $300,000 in it without creating my own product and going from a markup business to a margin business, like I didn't understand. Like, I mean, in my markup business, I was buying something for $40 and I was selling it for $200, right? In this case, you're buying for $40, you're selling it for $65. There's not much room.
It's interesting, it's like the lessons we learn from our ego when we're younger. The ego is so overwhelmingly powerful. It stops us, it clouds our judgment as human beings. And it takes us a while to realize that we've got one, because when we're young and we've got one, we don't even acknowledge we have.
You don't even acknowledge.
What do you mean I've got an ego? Of course I haven't got it. I'm just me. But then we get a bit older and it's like, oh yeah. So there was a great lesson you took from that.
Yeah.
When you then jumped into the next business, what was the next business after that?
After that, I was in the cannabis industry.
Okay.
I had an online platform I was developing. At the same time, we had dispensaries in California. So yeah, I was in the cannabis industry for a bit.
Succeed or fail? Honest.
I was very successful.
That was really successful.
Very successful.
Okay. And you don't have it anymore. Why?
Not at all. It was the wild, wild west. At that time, it was not illegal. It was not legal.
Okay.
I went to California. I wanted to bring my Canadian-based concept, my health concept, into the US because California alone has a population of the entire country of Canada. So I said, okay, I'm going to go to California. I was old favors. I made a handful of people a lot of money, and I was old favors. So when I got in there, the people that were in that satellite business that I was in, who were making a lot of money, transitioned into electronics, cigarettes, juices, e-juices, vaporizers, and medical cannabis. So
that business made good money.
yes.
What happened to it?
Well, at the time when there was real money in it, it was neither legal nor illegal. Now that it's 100% legal and compliant, there's no more money in it. And the fact that if you do it in an illegal way, it's not worth the risk. Then you're just basically selling narcotics,
Okay.
which I've never done.
So the industry essentially died. The profitability of the industry.
Oh yeah, I mean it went from, I mean, at one point, let's say if something was $4,000, $4,000, that $4,000 today is $1,200.
Okay.
There's no more room in it.
So basically, you've gone from grey drugs to clean drugs. It's interesting to think about it that way. Industries where you put, but this is interesting. You've thought there was opportunities in industries. I love the fact that you've failed and you don't see it as failure. You see it as learning. I think that's really important. And it's quite cliche, but I think it's a state of mind a lot of the time as well. It's like if you have that state of mind where you're just like, no, this is learning, then it doesn't eat away at your soul.
Yes.
And it doesn't make you then fear going again.
Correct.
And that's a lot of people don't have that. That's an unusual characteristic,
Correct.
An unusual gene, which clearly you have.
Correct.
Now, you have a bunch of companies, and for me, it's very difficult with the bunch of companies that I have to maintain my focus. So first of all, can I get a prescription or can I get a subscription, okay, to get your tablets so I can focus better, please?
Absolutely. And listen, and let me tell you something about what we have. People have tried it, other companies, big companies, to make this in one capsule and to figure out how we did it. They can't figure it out. They've tried to put it in an HPLC machine. They've tried to reverse engineer. They've tried everything in their power. They cannot figure out how we do it in a 750 milligram capsule. They cannot figure it out.
No, that's not true. Do you know what the truth is? They don't want to know bad enough. Because if you and I sat there, you would get to the bottom of it by hook or by crook.
I did.
Well, there you go.
But I did, because I didn't want to make it into two capsules. The whole idea was it's the limitless pill, not the limitless pills.
Yeah.
Right? So the pill has to be one capsule. It has to have everything in one capsule, which it does, as compared to other brands, which are 2 or 4 per serving.
Let's go on to the next part of your journey, because I'm conscious of time here.
Tell me.
How many companies do you own right now?
My core focus is they're all tied to one company. So I have, here's how my structure works. I have a holding company, which is publicly traded.
Sits at the top.
At the top.
Publicly traded where?
It's in the US, on the OTC. So this is all part of the whole other story too. So again, challenges, going public without knowing any of the stock market, putting a ton of money into it, tens of millions of dollars of my own money, and turning the whole company around, right? So that company at one point was only direct-to-consumer products, dietary supplements, nutraceuticals. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. We were selling online. It was a combination of the NZT48, keto capsules, keto gummies, skincare products, things like that. Today, the company is very different. I've taken all the different industries that I'm in and tied them together. There's a subsidiary for entertainment, okay, which is events, exhibitions, things like that. There's a subsidiary for films, TV and film, producing, which the acting side, I kind of fell into it. That's a whole other funny story, but I just fell into it by fluke. And then there's another subsidiary we put in there for real estate. But real estate, what I want to eventually do there is high performance, healthy living, which is a totally different concept based on my true story and based on me being a transformational health entrepreneur. Now, I have business interests in a lot of different things. I have a nightclub. I'm opening a couple of other nightclubs. I have, I have little pieces in a lot of different businesses, right? I invest into things, but I wouldn't call those things my core business. My core business ultimately ties back to entertainment, ties back to films, ties back to production, ties back to TV shows and products, selling products, whether it be through direct to consumer or through offline distribution. And how it all ties in together is because the platform, think of the movies or the television shows and things like that as platforms. Each one is its own marketing platform with a global reach, right? You have influencers that want to be celebrities. They want to get access to the tier 1 press, but they can't get it unless they actually get into the movie industry. So you take them, you put them into the movie industry. That helps them at the same time. And they'll promote your brand, your products, things like that. You open up international. Now, keep in mind, I've spent over a decade in establishing relationships. So today, whatever I do, I can just show it here, and automatically I have floodgates that'll open up. But if I didn't have the relationships, it wouldn't be the same thing. So you open up international, you get your brand products in international, you get your movies over there, and you monetize it that way. Eventually, you bring on other like-minded people that are trying to do start up a e-commerce business or start up an offline distribution business. They don't have the marketing power, they don't have the means, and you turn it into an incubator accelerator. That's really my plan in the whole thing, is to turn it into an incubator accelerator.
So what's your goal? The ultimate goal here?
Exit after exit after exit after exit after exit. No.
Are you rich? Are you rich?
It depends what you consider rich.
Okay, well, what do you consider rich?
You can't put a dollar value to it.
Okay, so then what does successful mean to you?
Do I have a high net worth? Yes. If that's your question.
Well, let's dive in here. Let's not be, you've created success, high net worth. What does that mean? How much money have you got?
Listen, to me, a high net worth, anything below $100 million net worth is not a high net worth.
Anything worth less than 100 million?
Anything less than 100 million is not considered.
And when you talk about net worth, you're talking about cash in the bank, investments, assets, businesses, altogether.
Everything.
Okay, so whatever you've got.
You're not just sitting with cash in the bank. I mean, you'd be foolish. You'd be a fool to do that.
Okay,
that's not how it works.
So you're worth more than 100 million.
Yes.
Okay. It says online that you've got a private jet.
Yes.
Do you own a private jet?
Yes.
A private jet that takes you from LA to Vegas, or that takes you from LA to Dubai?
Not from LA to, it can go to LA to Dubai with a stop. It has to have a stop, but it can go straight. It goes to London. It can go straight shot to London.
Go straight to London?
Yeah.
So what's that? 6,000 miles?
Yeah.
Yeah, long way.
Yeah, Gulfstream.
Yeah. Okay, and how long ago did you get the jet?
I got it in 2020.
How did it make you feel?
Great. But a lot of fake friends, I used it as an Uber for a good year and a half, 2 years, burnt a lot of money with it, but it's great for marketing and it's great to build relationships, because what you can do with 42,000 feet up in the air, you can't do on the ground. When people know you have a plane and you send your plane to pick them up, you already close the deal before you have to say, before you even start the conversation.
Yeah, agreed. You're playing at another level. Who inspires you?
Who inspired me in the beginning?
You said Vince McMahon was this guy at the beginning.
Yes.
Okay, that got you going. But who inspires you now? Who do you look to now? Say, I want to be you, or you know what, you're really credible.
I inspire myself.
Is that a bit egotistical?
Nope.
Tell me why then.
I just believe that I've reached a point in my life where I'm very self-aware. I understand my purpose. I understand what I've achieved. I understand what I want to achieve. I understand what I know and what I don't know, and who I want to surround myself with, the type of people that I want to be around, and the type of people that I don't want around. So I'm just looking to better myself every day at this point.
Talk to me about humanity.
Mhm.
When I look at successful people, it isn't always people that have made a lot of money. The most successful person I know is a lady called Maria Conceição. She brought over 640 children here from Bangladesh, got them all educated, and came here with no money and has 12 Guinness World Records now.
Right.
And what she's done is absolutely remarkable. And I look at that and I'm like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, the conversation I had with her about climbing Mount Everest was the one that really, really struck home with me, because I've been to Everest and I've looked at that mountain from base camp and known that I'm at 5,500 meters and it's still another 3 kilometers in the air up. And I've gone, holy macaroni, that's serious. Maria was like, well, if I get over that obstacle, I can help more children. And in her mind, it was an obstacle to helping more children.
Correct.
And how that was framed in her brain reminded me of how really successful entrepreneurs think.
Mm-hmm.
And so I saw her, even though her focus wasn't on making money for herself or successfully building a business, it was helping these children.
Right.
I saw that as an incredible level of success and someone that inspires me all the time. Making money and being successful is one thing, but the difference you make to the rest of the world.
That is what my purpose is today, is to make the difference, make an impact, and help people change lives.
What do you want them to learn?
I want them to learn the values. See, I have a story based off of how I started to where I am today, that certain parts of it can touch everybody. It doesn't matter what age group, right? So what I would talk to in students or kids in a school versus college students versus a housewife are totally different things, right? Totally different audience. But it all starts from the kids in the school. And the kids in the school, they need to understand, look, when I grew up, I did a lot of crazy shit in my life. I made money. I was involved around a lot of wrong people. I was involved around a lot of crazy things. I've seen a lot of crazy things in my life. Is it something I'm proud of or that I would want to surround myself with? Absolutely not. But it's part of the journey. It's part of the experience and growing, right? And the one thing that these kids need to understand is the importance of developing the right friendships and the right people. I know everybody says the same thing. Your network determines your net worth. You surround yourself, but it's one thing to just read it in a book or for someone to say it. It's another thing to really understand the rationale behind it, right? So when we were in high school, like when I was like 12 or 13, we were a group of friends who were still friends till today. We're always in the library in school, and we were looking at cars. And we were going and looking at all these Motor Trend magazine, the car books, this and that were coming at the time. And we're like, I want this car. I want this car by this age. I want this car by this age. I want this car by that age. And that's why everything I've done in my life, I've attached it to a car, right? Before. That's how I used to be. This goal, I hit this goal, I'm going to get this car. I hit this goal, I'm going to hit that car. We used to, chase Dodge Vipers and things like that. I see a Viper, oh my God, we were on a bicycle chasing after it just to go sit in the car. So I'm a car freak. And that's how I attached each different goal. And as soon as I hit it, I'm going to buy this car until I ran out of all the cars to buy. I've had every car pretty much that you could think of. Pagani, Bugattis, this one, that one, all of them. Paid cash, pink slip in hand. So it's a big difference. Not like today where you see so many people driving Chirons. You don't know who's who and what's what or what the story is behind it. So again, but what did I do to get the cars? I have to be disciplined, right? It's not luck. It doesn't just fall in your hands. You have to keep working every single day. I've had sleepless nights. I've had, countless things, right? It doesn't matter what you're selling or what you're doing. You're still putting in risk. You're still putting in the work. You're still taking risk. You're still taking risk in a sense also of sacrificing your personal life for a reward that potentially only you could see at the finish line. But you have to believe in yourself. And you have to have those right people. So the advice I would give them is, look, I did it. If I did this much and I've accomplished knowledge, not forget about monetary success in all the industries I'm in, because I have yet to become extremely successful in certain industries that I'm in, that I've been, tapped into for a while. But if you can gain the knowledge and understanding to be able to sit with a professional from that industry that has made hundreds of millions or billions of dollars and talk on the same wavelength as them, you've won. Because knowledge is power. But applying the knowledge in the right way, that is what brings you success.
Jas, I think I've got 3 or maybe even 4 hours more of conversation to be had with you. Unfortunately, we can't take it any further today, because I know you've got many things to do. But thank you so much for coming to spend time with us. It's been such a great insight, and what a great human being you are. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
This episode is proudly sponsored by Allsop & Allsop, Dubai's leading and largest real estate brokerage. Now, with over 16 years in business, Allsop & Allsop have transformed the real estate experience for thousands of buyers, sellers, landlords, and tenants. By leveraging cutting-edge technology and data-driven insights, they are the consistent driving force behind the growth of Dubai's real estate sector. Their unmatched expertise and industry knowledge empower clients to navigate the market with confidence, no matter what their needs. Committed to finding your perfect home, they, without exception, ensure your real estate experience is as seamless as the property itself. Whatever your property needs, keep moving with Allsop & Allsop, the trusted choice in Dubai real estate.